What was the proudest moment of your life? When I exposed my daughter's teacher in front of the entire school board. My 8-year-old Sophie has severe dyslexia. Reading is a daily struggle, but she tries harder than any kid I know. Every night we practice together, her little finger tracing under each word, determination written all over her face. Her third-grade teacher, Mrs. Chen, was supposedly experienced, came highly recommended, but from day one, something felt wrong. Sophie started having meltdowns about school. "I can't do anything right, Mommy," she'd sob. Mrs. Chen says I'm holding everyone back. I thought maybe Sophie was being sensitive until parent-teacher conferences. Mrs. Chen sat across from me with this condescending smile and said, "Some children just aren't cut out for academics. Have you considered vocational programs?" Sophie was 8 years old. Things got worse. Sophie would come home with stories about being made to read aloud while kids snickered, getting detention for not focusing, being excluded from group activities because she was too slow. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Sophie collapsed on our kitchen floor, hyperventilating. "Mrs. Chen says I'm stupid, Mommy. She says I make her job harder." Maybe she's right. That night, I made a decision that would change everything. I bought a tiny recording device and hid it in Sophie's pencil case. For 2 weeks, I documented what was really happening in that classroom. What I heard made my blood boil. Mrs. Chen telling Sophie she was wasting everyone's time during reading circles, making jokes about her backwards letters to other teachers, forcing her to sit alone during group work because she was disruptive. But the worst was when I heard Mrs. Chen tell another student, "Don't worry about Sophie, she'll probably end up in special ed anyway. Some kids just can't learn." I requested an emergency meeting with the principal. She brushed me off. Mrs. Chen was a veteran teacher. Surely there was a misunderstanding. That's when I decided to go nuclear. Our monthly school board meeting was packed as usual. Parents praising teachers, budget discussions, the typical agenda. Mrs. Chen sat in the front row, confident and smiling as several parents lauded her high standards and tough love approach. When public comment opened, I walked to the microphone with my laptop and a folder thick with transcripts. I'd like to share some examples of Mrs. Chen's innovative teaching methods with dyslexic students. I pressed play. The room filled with Mrs. Chen's voice. "Sophie, you're holding up the entire class again. Maybe you should just color while the smart kids read." The silence was deafening. Board members leaned forward. Parents turned to stare at Mrs. Chen, whose face had gone completely white. I played another clip. "I don't know why your parents think you belong in regular classes. This is too hard for you." Then another. Mrs. Chen laughing with a colleague about the slow kid who thinks she can read chapter books. By the fourth recording, the superintendent was standing. Mrs. Chen tried to leave, but the board president asked her to remain seated. "I have 47 recordings spanning 2 weeks," I announced. "This represents systematic psychological abuse of a child with learning differences." The room erupted. Parents shouted questions. The teachers' union rep looked mortified. Mrs. Chen sat frozen as her career imploded in real time. Within an hour, she was suspended pending investigation. By Friday, she was terminated. But here's the beautiful part. 3 other parents approached me after that meeting. Turns out Mrs. Chen had been bullying kids with learning differences for years. My recordings opened the floodgates. The district implemented new training protocols, hired a learning specialist, and created oversight procedures for vulnerable students. Sophie's in a new classroom now with Mrs. Rodriguez, who celebrates every small victory. Last week, Sophie read me an entire Magic Tree House book without stopping once. When she finished, she looked up with the biggest grin and said, "Mommy, I'm actually good at this." Sometimes the smallest voices deserve the loudest protection, and sometimes one mom with a recording device can change everything. Mrs. Chen never taught again.